Hello. So, I wanted to talk about this. I saw a clip about this this organization called California Forever. What they are is, if I understand right, I'm not a money guy, and I don't ever want to be a money guy. But if I understand correctly, this is a pool of money that is managed by people who have specialty in their areas. So they have this money and they bought this land. They bought up a reasonable amount of a county out in California. Now, I'm from Wisconsin. So things that happen in California, I tend to think of in a certain way. Like they do things that does not make sense to me in any way. They're very religious in California. Most of the religion in California is this wokeism. But either way, this company bought up a large section of a county and they got fought back against the county itself, the people who reside there. Because they came in and they had all of these ambitions that were only described vaguely to the people who actually lived there. Like, we're going to build a city where there was no city in the middle of old farmland, and you will not believe the structure in which we want to build this thing. There was no, as far as I could tell from the video, there was no specifics. It was just like everything else we have ever done. We get a bunch of money together, we go and develop the way we've always developed, which is we build properties in places where regular people live, but those properties are not built for regular people who live there. They're built to push those people out and bring in a different kind of people. I think you're doing things wrong, but to say that needs a little bit of clarification. When I do this work, my work is in consciousness. When I do my dream work is in how to build the structure that fixes our world. And I have said in videos at times that if it were up to me, I would get together a large pool of money, buy out a large piece of land, and start to develop in the way that I see for us to move forward in the future as a species. So there's clearly people doing things like this. This California Forever is clearly buying up a large section of land, but their vision is a repeat, a copy of things that we have already done. So now they have this land, and what they chose to do was go into litigation, meaning they chose to sue people that were holding out in order to get what they want. That is the biggest indicator to me that they are going off the old script, that they aren't building anything new. They're just building something better than what was there before according to their vision. And the response that the town gave them, the town that is fighting back against them, they said, look, we've got this entire city block. If you think you can build something to show us a better way, here it is. Build it. See, the problem you guys have is that you can't build what it is you have in your mind with just that city block. You wanted to build a city. You are limited by your own vision because your own vision lacks diversity. Diversity is the key to changing what it's like to live on this planet as a species, as a human being. What I would recommend to you is that you take what you have and you start to build infrastructure for a new way to live. That will not sit with you because you already have a vision. So why should I even bother saying it to you? There's no reason for you to listen to me, but there is a chance that you will. There is a chance that somebody who is fighting back against you will watch this. We are playing two different games. You are playing to better the financial stability or holdings of a select few. That is how we have always done it. That is not different. That is not new. It won't change anything. When I talk about building this new world, I know that there's a chance that I won't live long enough to see this start. So I have to pick my battles. I have to make the case that if you do go about it this way, to buy the large amount of land, you need to do with that land something that will actually improve life for the people that are fighting against you. That's us. That's people like me. People who work their lives, people who try to build, that deal with this environment of fear, try to make something secure for themselves and their families. Those are the people you are fighting against. You need to stop doing that. I get it. They don't have as much of the thing that you want as the people you are targeting. Maybe you could do something about that. See, because when I dream about how to build this new world, I dream in ways that the method, the focus, the challenges can be overcome globally. If I have a challenge and I meet that challenge and I come up with a diverse way to solve it, I want that diversity to be known everywhere. Because it's not just that county in California that needs this kind of help. It is everywhere, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, here, South America, everywhere. And the reason I know that is true is because when I've watched this video, it talks about all these other developments that are of the same, that are similar, that are the same thing. Groups of people who put their money together to buy up these large sections of land to try and make a development. Now, you wanted a city. When I build, I think of infrastructure first. I think if I had your land, there would be windsocks all over it. There would be computers tracking how the wind works on the surface. You're already in a stall, right? Because you're dealing with legalities. There would be core samples taken. There would be the trajectory and the availability and the volume of water would be understood, would be measured. The geology that the water moves itself around and through, all of that. If you are in a downtime period, you, California Forever, or anybody else doing this in the world, you need to think about infrastructure first. We have a problem on this planet. And the problem is all of our energy is developed by fossil fuels, developed in large quantities and spread throughout so that people can use it. What you need to do is have many people contributing as much energy as possible to a common thing, and then they sell that energy to the people that are massive users of it. I realize that that's not appealing to you because look at who you have to fight for that to become a reality. You have to fight big oil. You have to fight big farming. You have to fight big pharma. We are fighting right now to legalize weed, and there's so much opposition to it. To say nothing of the opposition to fossil fuels. But if you are somebody who is on the side of fossil fuels, you already recognize that your supply is limited, that whatever comes next needs to be developed and it is worth money. There is power, there's glory, there's recognition. There is history to be made. And what I would like to say to the people in those towns and those areas that are fighting back against this, look, what I am telling you we need to build for our future, they are going to build with or without us. It could be big business that does it, or it could be us that does it. See, the secret history of the world says that everything you know to be true should be flipped on its head. And everything about this system that we currently use, it's amazing how many of the solutions for the problems we have only occur by flipping the system on its head. Energy, developed by the few, used by the masses, flipped on its head, is generated by the masses and sold to the few. Flipping it on its head. But why should you do this? They are going to do it anyway. Fossil fuels are a limited resource. We are not making more crude oil. As far as we know, crude oil is the breakdown of civilizations that have come before ours that we don't even remember anymore. That's a different subject. Doesn't matter. They're going to do it with or without us. I would love to see this start in the United States of America. We have talked my entire life about how we are the best. And we have failed repeatedly to nation build elsewhere in the world because we really don't know how to nation build yet. What we are is an experiment in how to live your life. If that experiment has been successful, and it has been, that experiment has given the world more development, more technology, more information, more data than any civilization that has ever been in our records. We could do this. And if we don't, as the people, it will be done anyway, and we will just pay for it in other ways, and we will have a much, much smaller piece of the prosperity that comes from it. It's my final notes on this. After watching this video, I understand that what I dream is already being attempted-ish by people in the world. One of the problems my dream has is available property. See, California Forever spent like $2 billion to buy up all this land. Land speculation in California is far different than it is in Wisconsin. But given that there are projects like this all over the world, there is a solution available for the people. If big money has come in and bought this up, big money has failed and gone into buying politicians and fighting in court to do the shittiest thing they could possibly do, that means that there is large sections of land. And I've thought about this because China apparently has a lot of our farmland. Bill Gates apparently has a lot of our farmland, but doesn't seem to be using it the way I would use it. Not my business, not my problem. But these large sections of land are in private hands. They can be taken if we, the people, actually have a vision, actually have a plan. See, if it were me, and for some reason this all started to make money, I would buy up a small portion of land, or whatever portion of land I can afford to buy. I would develop the energy generation on that land until I can afford to build a castle. Cities of the future, to me, look more like castles. I'm not talking about stone and turret and moats. I'm talking about you are in the countryside. You don't have to drive 65, 70 miles an hour to get to the city. You could take rail. You could ride a horse if you want. It doesn't matter. Because the city is only a castle, which could be as simple as one enormous structure that is used to funnel the energy that is generated, or just to house things like development companies, production companies. You could be going through a lovely countryside and come to Castle Microsoft, for all I know. And Castle Microsoft has its function for the landscape around. That castle may have the sports stadium that we all want to use for the community around it. Look, stop thinking about cities the way we have. Because you could build 5 or 6 castles, Microsoft Castle, Elon Musk Castle, whatever the fuck, he'd probably name it X. Anyways, stop thinking about it that way. You're thinking in the wrong scale. Size has defeated you. And if you're the people that are being influenced by these people that are being defeated by size, understand that there is a large amount of land there. If you have a better vision and an approach to attack this, you're already halfway there. But you need to stop thinking about high-end residentials and think about infrastructure. See, I'm a person who's very philosophical, but 2 days ago I did a talk about sex. why would I do a talk about sex? It's not an advertisement. I'm not looking. It's not a brag, because I fight very hard against ego. I did it because the vast majority of people, I think, are probably unaware of how it can be done. And when done right, there's this old saying, like, the warrior or the athlete, the night before the big game or the big battle in the arena, sex makes them weaker. And it does drain your energy. It does take away some ambition, because a lot of ambition for men is getting laid. But the right kind of sex is the kind of sex that can embolden us, that can build us up and make us stronger, give us more focus, more determination, and more insight. The kind of sex that gives us hope. I want you to start thinking, whether you are the people trying to take the land or the people who are having the land taken from you, there is a way that you can build that doesn't decrease hope for the majority and increase security for the fewer people, but the reverse of that. You need to start thinking about how to flip this system on its head. And let me tell you, the first people to do this right will make a ton of money, because to do it with integrity, which you cannot have a leader or a group of leaders that does this project that is only doing it for their own ego and security. If you do it with integrity, the integrity is what the people will invest in. What I would invest in is the integrity. I will not invest in a person like Elon Musk, because I don't believe there is integrity there. I'm sorry to drop your name again, but you are the biggest example, the most well-known example. Maybe you're a wonderful person. Whatever. What I dream, the methodology to start the dream, is in action around the world. That means that there are places where it could be done, where arrogant, blind people have tried to do a thing, could be taken, or where intelligent, insightful, and people with integrity could actually build this thing. I think you're getting it wrong out there, and I think you're making yourself vulnerable, because the resources we use to fuel our societies are finite. They will run out. They will become so cost ineffective that there's no point anymore. This next thing, if done right, especially by the first person, the first entity to do it, which is why I think it's best if it's the people that do it, if there are actually laws built in order to encourage and protect this kind of development. But if it's the rich that do it first, all that power, money, glory, security, that is all going away for humanity. We will get what they allow us to have, what they no longer need to protect, and is available for everybody. Look, a lot of my work is based in this understanding. We, through Darwin and others, recognized the first replicator on this planet, genetics. We, through Richard Dawkins and others, recognized, mostly Richard Dawkins, he can have all the credit, really, as far as I'm concerned, understood our second replicator. Look, what does it mean to discover a replicator? The discovery of one does not imply that others exist. It's a discovery. But the discovery of a second implies that there are others to be discovered. I am not going to be the one that discovers these. I am not the one that discovered the ones we know about. What I need to do is develop a world, or show a way to develop a world that encourages the growth of mind, not security. Security is required to build a world that focuses on mind, because I need to find that person who has on the spectrum of intelligence that is more leaning towards math, that can understand what I see, what we have recognized already, and find the algorithm that proves it. That's not going to be me. But I need that understanding to be out there so that when the right mind comes across it, it is accomplished. Because once that's accomplished, and there's a billions of things like that. Once that is accomplished, replicators will be understood faster, development will be understood faster. I don't think you understand if somehow I've gotten to a rich, influential person. You don't understand that how you live is trash compared to how we could be living. You have accepted exceptionalism in the most narrow of terms. That exceptionalism needs to be in a much broader term so we can recognize a more diversity of exceptionalism. Once that starts happening and spreading, more and more and more mind is free to grow as opposed to being driven. Thank you.